Jim Wallace, whom I quoted in the opening words, is a Roman Catholic, although he's a radical one. But I find his liberal Roman Catholic belief in the common good to be not that far different from my belief in the common good as a liberal Unitarian Universalist Christian. Wallace helped draft a new social covenant at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, earlier this year. In the May edition of Sojourners magazine, Wallace says this covenant is really a call for worldwide discussion about what values are needed to address the many difficult challenges the world is now facing. He says that inequality, austerity, retrenchment, maldistribution, conflicts over resources, and extreme poverty all raise questions about our values. Wallace goes on to cite 3 values that he says express a consensus across cultures and religions. They are 1, the dignity of the human person; 2, the importance of the common good, which transcends individual interests; and 3, the need for stewardship of the planet for posterity. Please turn to the back of your order of service or to the front pages of the hymnal and look at the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism, which move from the dignity of the human person to the importance of the common good to the need of stewardship for the planet. These are the values that guide Unitarian Universalists in Clemson, South Carolina, and Athens, Georgia, and around the world. So, let's take a few minutes to celebrate how UUs have worked and are working for the common good. In Wikipedia, of all places, I found an extensive list of famous Unitarian Universalists, many of whose work for the common good has made our lives better and easier. There's Thomas Jefferson, of course, who never really belonged to a Unitarian congregation, but who believed Unitarianism to be the religion of the future in the new nation he helped to found. How sad that he was wrong. But as someone in Athens pointed out to me last week, we're a young nation as nations go, so there's still time. On the list of famous UUs are 3 other presidents and several members of Congress. Many of the early women's rights advocates and suffragettes were Unitarians or Universalists, including Abigail Adams and Olympia Brown. Arthur J. Altmeyer, the father of Social Security; Bill Bayard, reproductive rights pioneer; Roger Nash Baldwin, founder of the American Civil Liberties Union; Morris Dees, co-founder of the Southern Poverty Law Center, all are UUs. Humanitarian Albert Schweitzer and folk singer activist Pete Seeger, both are UUs, as was Clara Barton, organizer of the American Red Cross, and oh, so many others who have had positive influence on the lives of people around the world. Nationally, in recent times, Unitarian Universalists have led the way in lobbying for marriage equality. That's what standing on the side of love, like your big sign out front, that's what it means, after all. And in speaking out in support of justice issues such as fair immigration policies, especially at the 2012 General Assembly in Arizona, environmental justice, as we did at this year's General Assembly in Louisville, and food justice issues and many other issues. In many local areas, UUs have also been at the forefront of major social movements. I asked Reverend Terry to fill me in on some of the ways that members of this congregation have acted for the common good. She told me about Bernice and Albert Holt, who were instrumental in making integration happen in the Clemson area. She says that Bernice, in particular, attended public meetings to stand as a force for justice, and that together they began the Clemson Child Development Center, the first integrated child care facility, which continues to operate today. I also learned from Terry that founding members of this congregation caused quite a stir when they began holding integrated events in the late 1940s. Indeed, she says, the administration and faculty at Clemson University created an environment such that Clemson was peacefully integrated, unlike many other universities around the South. And I want to note that when Reverend Terry was minister at the Fellowship in Athens, she herself was a pioneer, joining the Good Old Boy network that was the Campus Ministers Association as the first woman minister in that group, and finally winning their acceptance and respect, and therefore paving the way for our current minister in Athens, who is a woman, and for women clergy from other denominations in the area, so that they could freely take part in that important aspect of life at the University of Georgia. And Terry tells me she will be president of the Clemson Campus Ministry Association this year. So let's look at how you, who are present this morning, support the common good. Raise your hand if you have brought canned goods. All right. Raise your hand if you have helped feed the homeless at Our Daily Rest. Wonderful. Raise your hand if you have donated time, talent, or treasure to at least one of this congregation's benevolences of the month. Excellent. Raise your hand if you helped build the memorial garden, helped erect new signs in the parking lot, helped with the spring cleaning, participated in the Green Sanctuary activities, volunteered for Relay for Life, or walked in the annual Clemson Area Walk for Water. Yes, look at all those hands. Raise your hand if you have marched in a demonstration, signed a petition, sent a letter to the editor or to your members of Congress in support of civil rights, women's rights, gay rights, environmental rights, or any number of other worthy equal rights causes. Good for you. Raise your hand if your life's work has included teaching, caring for others, advocating for the less fortunate, or in any way working to make the world a better place. Yeah, that's most of us, isn't it? Way to go. Okay, we'll stop there. But if you want to be a part of any of these or the numerous other projects that this congregation supports, check out the announcements in the UUFC World on the website, which is where I got some of my information. In the broader world recently, there has been much reporting of the self-centeredness in politics, the bickering over budget issues, the arguing over immigration issues, the fighting over gun control issues, the standoff on health care issues, the sheer terror of those in office that the other side will get its way, so that the idea of true compromise, indeed, the idea of what is best for the nation and its inhabitants, what is best for the common good, has been ignored. But local news tells a different story. There are firefighters who run into burning buildings to save people or pets from the flames for the common good. There are policemen who put their own lives on the line to remove hostages from danger for the common good. There are teachers who throw their bodies over the bodies of their young students to shield them from falling debris or flying bullets for the common good. There are doctors and nurses and ordinary citizens who rush toward the fallen when a bomb goes off at a public event. Say it with me. For the common good. There are firefighters who die fighting the flames of wildfires for the common good. There are flight attendants who carry to safety passengers who weigh twice as much as they do for the common good. Maybe the politicians and the religious institutions to which they claim to belong and to whom they pander have forgotten the common good, but the ordinary people like you and me have not. Obviously, I think that human beings on the whole are looking out for each other. Unitarian Universalists are very good at welcoming people into our congregations. Come, we say, whoever you are, whatever religious tradition you are from, whatever you believe, whomever you love, however you vote, you are welcome here. And we mean it for the common good. I'm sure you here at UUFC are welcoming many new folks as we are in Athens, and that you are including them in the activities and making them feel welcome. But maybe there's still more that we can do to demonstrate the common good within our congregations. Please look again at the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism on the order of service or in the front of the hymnal. The first and the 7th are the principles we hear the most about. I think people are attracted to Unitarian Universalism because of the first one, and many stay because of the 7th one. But it is the ones in between that are really the heart of the matter. That's where for the common good within our congregations really shows up. I'm afraid some of us get stuck at number 1. We hear the part about it's okay to be me. It's okay to believe what I want to believe. And we get selfish about protecting those beliefs. When we encounter someone whose belief or expression of belief is radically different from ours, we may not extend to them the same freedom to articulate their beliefs in the language or manner they wish. I've been a member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Athens for 12 years and a member of the Worship Arts Committee, formerly the Sunday Service Committee, there for most of those years. The Worship Arts Committee hears from many members of the congregation, especially from those who are unhappy with what happens on Sunday morning. You know the old joke about why UUs don't sing very well? They're too busy reading ahead to see if they agree with the lyrics to pay attention to the tune. Well, based on the comments our Worship Arts Committee gets, some UUs would like to see the lyrics for the service before it begins to see if there's any word or action that they might find offensive before they sit down in the pew. There's another UU joke that says, if there are 5 UUs in a room, there will be at least 8 different opinions on any given issue. So, for every UU who objects to a word like worship or God or prayer, there is at least 1, maybe 2 others who think those words aren't used enough in UU services. What's a Worship Arts Committee supposed to do? I can't speak for this congregation here in Clemson, but I know when there is conflict within the Athens congregation over whether to enlarge the building, cut down a tree to increase parking, or expand to 2 services because some of those nuns, N-O-N-E-S, people who have no religious affiliation, have found their way to our doors, some members may be alarmed by all the changes and forget that we have something that the world needs, the same thing that attracted them to the uncommon denomination in the first place, the good news that there is more love right here. But our youth may lead us. Like Ron in the scene from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, our youth understand that you've got to make some sacrifices for the common good. A few months ago at the youth bridging service in the Athens congregation, one of our young people said, and I quote, "My worth and dignity ends where another person's worth and dignity begins." You youth get it. Unitarian Universalism is about the common good, both outside the building and inside the building. if we are trying to hide out from the world in a UU sanctuary, then we are not here for the common good. If we are not putting our principles into practice, then we are not here for the common good. If we are not drawing circles that include rather than exclude, then we are not here for the common good. Unitarian Universalism is about the common good because you see how we support the common good which transcends individual interests is Unitarian Universalism's response to the world's hurt. And that is what sets us apart, what makes us the uncommon denomination. May it be so.